Yo, what up? What up? You can hear me, Brody? Nah, never mind. I heard myself. You heard? I got a routine. Shout out to OG Bobby Johnson. What up, OG? Cynical. What up? Yo, my other device is dead. You heard? So if y'all don't got a wrench, my apology. I couldn't get in my other joint. I wasn't trying to wait 5 or 10 minutes. Niggas be going live. You heard? Niggas be going live and shit like that. And I'd rather be a participant. Street Queen salute. I'd rather be a participant in the chat, in the chat, than do the live. You heard? Humble Gemini, salute, humble. Uh, listen. Once this live is over, I'm gonna go back and I'll give you a wrench. You heard? I couldn't get in my other device. The other device is dead. I plugged it in and shit like that. But every time I hit the button, it's just telling me that it hasn't hit 5% yet. You heard? I'm glad to see you around. Humble. What up? I figured I'd come up here and talk a little bit of shit. Nothing too crazy. You know what I'm saying? The other day I went live and shit. I addressed the person, you know what I'm saying? Only because they have, you know what I'm saying, that I feel like what they did was crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand if I come up here and I talk shit about somebody, you know what I'm saying? And I also understand the art of war, you know what I'm saying? There's been a few people, including OG. We had, we had a little bit of smoke and shit like that. OG ain't come up here and make up no shit, you know what I'm saying? He was just using what was already out there. You know what I'm saying? The shit that he knew that bothered me and shit like that. That's why I say I understand the art of war, you know what I'm saying? Uh, but if I didn't have no beef with OG and he would have did that, it'd been a whole different story. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like old boy had no reason to put me up there. I don't acknowledge him. He ain't never done nothing to me. You know what I'm saying? So ain't no reason for me to talk about boy. You know what I'm saying? And that bothered me. You know what I'm saying? So I did come up here and say something. You know what I'm saying? But now humble. There's a new page. You know what I'm saying? So uh, I definitely, you automatically get the big rental on this motherfucker. You heard? Nah, street cause ain't going on. I'm just saying that the other day I came up here. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't the purpose of this page. To get messy, but for that reason it wasn't. You know what I'm saying? I don't even think I did it on this page. I didn't do it on this page. I did it on the other joint, the Matruski jump off. You heard? You know, like I said, I understand the art of war. Sometimes motherfuckers just say the Matruski shit, and I understand all that. You know what I'm saying? I know how that shit goes. But John, humble, you know what I'm talking about too. I don't know if you watch my live, but I know who you're talking about. The nigga that was showing a picture of shout out to Yessie and her dog. Homeboy did a video a couple days ago, wilding me and my kids up and shit. And I said he wasn't saying nothing about my kids specifically, like not to them, but he was saying I did shit to them. You heard? And I don't respect shit like that. Um, this page it was more for you know what I'm saying. I come up here, I got the StreamYard. I could drop the link and shit like that. I canceled on. I canceled this motherfucker. Yo, these motherfuckers is slick, right? Wednesday, I got into the account and I canceled this shit because that shit was about to charge me $88. It charged me $1 for a week of full access. When I went to cancel, those motherfuckers said, "Do you want to cancel or do you want to receive your 1 month free access to you know what I'm saying? And then after a month, you get the $88. You get charged $88." So I did that shit, the $88 jump off and shit like that for a month though. They think they slick. They start off charging you $1, and then you pay the motherfucker. When you go to cancel, they're like, nah, 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 you ain't going nowhere. You heard? We're gonna give you a month for free, respectfully. Yeah, I mean it wasn't like that though, Cynical. In the beginning, it was a free month, and then or I think it was a 20 hours or some shit for free, and then after that, if you wanted to keep it, it would be $25. 25 and $88 is outrageous. You know what I'm saying? And StreamYard's been fucking up big time. You know what I'm saying? Hey yo, OG, I heard you up there talking early this morning. You heard? I don't know if you still in the building, but I saw you over there. You know what I'm saying? running your fingers and shit, paws through your hair and shit like that. You heard? I'm gonna say this respectfully. You know why I don't let my shit grow, right? Nigga, I be out here looking like Antonio Banderas. You heard? Respectfully, respectfully. I got that good Indian Mexican hair. You heard? And that shit's a fucking hassle. You wake up late, nigga. You lay down and get up in a rush and shit. Your shit's all in a mess. You gotta run the comb through that like that shit's too crazy for me. You heard? Yeah, nigga. I'm Puerto Rican. You heard? Nigga be out here looking like a fucking samurai. Fuck around and play. You heard? That's a fact. Antonio Banderas. You heard? Walking around with the fucking guitar case. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but that's it. I don't give a fuck what you say, OG. Keep it real though. Keep it real though, OG. That shit, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's a blessing that you can, you know what I'm saying, your shit long like that. But keep it real. That shit sometimes becomes a hassle. You got your shit done, you gotta go and sit there while they do that shit. They're gonna braid your shit. My shit used to be long, nigga. Like dead ass. They start yeah, you fuck around and you get a drop top and shit like that and don't have a rubber band, nigga, you gonna crash your shit. That's your hair gonna go crazy and shit. Nah, son. To sit there, keep it real though. That's just to sit there and fucking have them brush your shit or braiding it and that shit. Just you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm talking about, nigga. And so do the ladies. You heard? That's a fact. You know what I'm saying? Then I fuck around, get my shit braided. Niggas just start saying I'm trying to be a moreno. You heard? Shout out to all my morenos. You heard? Nah, we ain't doing that. Yo, I'm telling you. DBS salute. Yeah. Hey, listen, at least, you know, I seen you in the chat earlier, you was joking around and shit, you keep your spirit up and shit like that. Some people will fucking end they life, you know what I'm saying, for having to pay all that money, you heard? You was on demon time last time they told you that shit. That's a fact. I know you wanted to cry. And you probably saying that in the chat, nigga, but you probably shed a tear too, you heard? It just ain't nobody see you. Hey yo, that's a fact, cynical, you heard? Now I'm like, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna front. When you don't go live and shit like that, that shit be mad peaceful and shit like that. But I fucking took the time to make an email and do this whole account and shit like that, and then I'm not even going live. I'm like, let me go live for a little bit. Talk a little bit of shit and shit like that, you heard? Street Queen, you was wilding earlier, you heard? You was wilding earlier when he was talking about when OG said, shout out to Top Shots, you heard? OG said that Top Shots had a clitoroid. You heard? Yo, I saw you write that shit in the chat. I said, yo, she's a Puerto Rican for real, for real. That's a fact. Shout out to Hova. Street Queen was in the chat talking about when she got pregnant, she had a fucking hemorrhoid the size of a fucking fist. Niggas is like, what? Wait, you see Keisha in here? Shout out to Keisha. Oh, I thought that shit said GFK. Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact. This the German shit. It's the German shit. You know what I'm saying? I was fucking around earlier, a couple days ago, and I did a live, and I talked about blue booties and shit like that. But yo, in all reality, for years, we was, some of us didn't believe it, but some did. You know what I'm saying? And that niggas was millionaires. You know what I'm saying? Niggas had it like that. You heard? But in all reality, you know what I'm saying? I listen, when I feel bad about something, I'll talk shit, but then I'll come clean. You heard? And I'll apologize and all that. You heard? That's a preggy Hemi is crazy, son. I said crazy. Whatever baby that was, Street Queen. Shout out to your babies, you heard. But whatever baby that was, I know for a fact that's your favorite. That's your favorite baby, you heard. You had to love it. If you dealt with a Hemi while pregnant with that specific baby, I know like that you went through some shit. You heard. BK718, what up? Hey yo, right? But I was talking about the blue booties, gentlemen, you heard? And in all reality, you know what I'm saying? I was put on recently that in that cash app, it was 200. Two Benjamins, you heard? Listen, that was 200 of hard, earned work money, you heard? He had to earn that shit. He worked hard for them 200, you heard? You know how many floors he had to vacuum? How many fucking mirrors in the bathroom he had to clean? You know how many toilets he had to plunge and wash? You heard? Respectfully, you know how many windows he had to squeegee? Respectfully. I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? I was up here clowning him and shit like that for doing that. But in all reality, $200, when you gotta work hard for that shit is not just crumbs, you know what I'm saying? Unless you're like Bill Gates and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, it wasn't about the two bills, the bread at all, respectfully. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't. It was just about, I knew it was about spite. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes when you're a real nigga, when you're a real nigga, if you call yourself a real nigga, right? And then you go to the barber shop and you get braids and shit, you know what I'm saying? You 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 think in your head you're a real ass person. You're a real ass nigga, you heard? Respectfully. So when somebody asks you, you did it out the kindness of your heart or out of spitefulness, say that. Say, nah, I did that shit. Yeah, yeah, he did. Yo, I did that shit. I fucked that dude. You heard? I did that shit because fuck that little Mexican wetback. You heard? That's how a real nigga carry it. Not duck and hide and say, nah, I didn't know nothing about that. I heard the story after I watched the videos, after I sent that bread. You dick sucking motherfucker, you lying ass nigga. From the very beginning, you wanted to do a fucking reaction and try to expose him last year. So that's the shit I don't respect. You heard? But I do respect that you work very hard. You know how many Wednesdays you probably had to go wake up and then carry this lie for all these years? And then you just take 200 off that hard work money and you know what I'm saying? And bless my child. Shout out to you. Nah, he go to Amazon. He goes to one of those cell phone businesses. You know what I'm saying? That you get discounts and shit when you buy in bulk, like BJ's. You heard? Who we fooling? He probably goes to the nearest hospital. What's the hospital over there in the Bronx? I'm not familiar with the Bronx, respectfully. You heard? I ain't gonna lie. Recently, I was in Patterson Projects a couple years ago, but I don't know the hospitals over there. What's the hospital over there? Motherfuckers will go over there, pretend they got a fucking motherfuckers will pretend they got a foot pain or their chest hurts so they be seen, and then they walk by the janitor fucking closet and they take them shit. You heard? Steal the whole. Yo, when I go to the doctors, I ain't gonna front. Let me have some cargo pants. Let it be wintertime and me have a hoodie or some shit. I'm stuffing my pockets with gloves. You heard? Respectfully. Respectfully. I got probably more doctor's gloves in my fucking drawer and in my closet than they do at the hospital. For real. The Bronx Zoo Hospital. Lincoln. There you go. Y'all don't tell me that when y'all go to the doctors or something and you in the room waiting. Y'all don't especially the dudes, the fellas, don't tell me y'all don't be going through the drawers. Come on. If y'all do, y'all Lincoln a chop shop, a butcher shop. Jeez. You know what I'm saying? I just listen. I feel like I feel like if I feel like somebody goes live and Henny's awake is doing normal people normal hours, and I hear about it and I go to the bushes and I listen and I don't pull up. I feel like, all right, cool. One live is enough for that, but while Henny's sleeping at 3 in the morning, you know what I'm saying? That shit is crazy to me, you heard? I don't respect that. Henny likes to talk shit a little bit, you heard? I ain't going too crazy, you know what I'm saying? Mansora? They probably man cheap in Mansora, you heard? But I don't know if they come in the blue colors over there, though. I heard everything over there is in rainbow colors, you heard? Respectfully. Yo, listen. uh, yo, you know you balling. You know you ball. Listen, there was a point in my life, right, where I had a finished basement, you heard? I lived in a crib with a nice ass basement. That was the man cave, you heard? Dartboard, air hockey table, foosball table, little a little stove type shit, a little one of those little plug-in 2 burner stoves, big ass TV. I had the whole works down there. You heard? If I would have had 2 ping pong tables, I would have been balling. You heard? You don't even gotta wait till next. Yo, y'all just run a game over there. You heard? Yo, I was playing. It was a New Year's Eve. This was in the early 2000s, maybe like 2003, four. I was running we was having a poker tournament in my basement. You heard? I had a party in the crib, but in the basement we had a poker tournament. You know what I'm saying? It was lit. Elias, salute. I can't give no wrenches out, respectfully. Yo, Divien, that's a fact, right? That's a fact. Listen, you don't think, you don't think, you you don't think she grabbed my son's phone and cashed out herself 180 out of that? And boy was talking about he wanted to fly Missy out to the Bronx. Hey yo, niggas think that Henny gets mad off for that shit. Let me tell you something. I turned that shit from let me not say, you know what I'm saying? Let me not wild out too much because she's still a female, you heard? And she's the mother of my kids. But let's just say, uh uh, let's just say that, you know what I'm saying? Go ahead, fly it out. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure Arby's is way much closer, respectfully. You heard? You heard? But I had a poker tournament in my basement. I had about $160, you know what I'm saying, with the chips. And I fucked it. And John John, rest in peace to John John, you heard? John John and his wife were at the crib. And he was just learning how to play poker, but he wasn't that great. You know what I'm saying? He thought he had the good poker face and scared and you know, bluff niggas and shit like that. I fuck around and go upstairs. There was an issue upstairs. So I go upstairs for a minute. I was gone for like 10 minutes. Word of God. I see John John up there. I told John John, yo, you know, he know how to play, but he wasn't, you know, when you can know how to play, and sometimes you can have decent cards, but you might not have the best cards. But you're already committed to the you know what I'm saying, to the hand and shit like that. So you might want to try to bluff niggas like you got some shit. But when it's not your money, it's easier for you to crash out. You heard? Man, like 10 minutes later, I see John John upstairs. I'm like, yo, what the fuck you doing up here? He's like, yo, dog, I lost all your money. Yo, I ain't gonna front. That shit for years. For years, I used to fucking fuck with him about that shit. Like, nigga, I still need my money. You heard? Respectfully. Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. I want some bread for poker. Dead ass. Dead ass. Uh, Missy's little cousin, little Mike. We used to call him Nipples because he pierced his own nipples, you heard? And caught an infection in one of them shits. And he had to walk around all summer without a shirt. So the nickname stuck with him, Nipples. I think it was like 500, 300. It was a couple hundred. He went all in, But I had 2 5s in my hand, and there was 2 5s on the board, and there was 2 2s on the board, and he went all in first though. You know what I'm saying? I called him. Nigga, he threw them 2 2s on the board like y'all got 4 2s. Man, I turned my 2 5s. He ain't even know what to do. You heard? I gave him $100 back, respectfully. That's a fact. That's his name is Michael. You heard? But we call him Nipples. Dead ass. He's walking around with a big old swollen red nipple all summer long because he fucking caught an infection in that shit. Yeah, he recovered. That shit was years ago. That shit was in the about 2006 maybe. You heard? 2007. I like poker. I ain't gonna fry. I used to be on that Poker Stars all the time when you could win real money. Now you got this FanDuel shit, and you know what's crazy? You know Alabama, you can't do none of that shit. You could do fantasy shit, but you can't do like FanDuel and none of them shits to bet. Like shout out to Tommy Hop, shout out to Rose Gold, all the React and all them that be playing that shit. You can't do that shit. You can't If I go to download the app, I'll download the app. But once you go to sign in, like to create an account, it'll say what state you in. And Alabama is like dim. It's not even lit up. You heard? You can't even pick Alabama. DSL, what up? Salute. Yeah, I can't get in. My other device I can get into it now, but the shit I can't get into the live to give anybody rentals. You heard? But after this live, I will go back and I'll give you our rentals. You heard? Respectfully. Just up here shooting this shit for a little bit. I did want to talk about I don't even want to give Boy light, you heard? I don't even want to give Boy light. Boy got like 13 subscribers and shit like that. Boy came into OG's live the other day. I don't understand some people, you heard? Some people I never done nothing to. Nothing. You know what I'm saying? And y'all gonna know who I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? The dude that came on my panel before and porn bombed me, you heard? I ain't never did nothing to Homeboy. Ever. You know what I'm saying? And and I told him to suck a couple matruski because of that. I don't feel like I'm wrong for that. He take that shit offensively, and he said he don't like me because of the shit, but he porn bombed me. Well, I'm supposed to be like, oh, okay, my brother? Nah. A motherfucker can't stand you, but a motherfucker give you mad attention. Homeboy say he's about to do uh the Jamaican dude, you heard? Shout out to my Jamaicans, respectfully. The Carnage dude, you heard? He porn bombed me on my shit for no reason, though. For no reason. You know what I'm saying? But I be dying because I'm like, yo, you can't stand me. You come in the chat, I don't say nothing to you. I don't pay you no mind. And you just start shooting at me, you heard? Talking about you gonna make a live on me and with 13 subscribers and shit. Go ahead. Yeah, he porn bombed me. That's a fact, he porn bombed me. But, yo, let me say this, though. Let me say this. I've been in DBN's live before. I've been in a couple lives before where people get porn bombed and they do them filthy, you heard? DBN, I think DBN got done the worst. DBN was driving. I don't know what the fuck DBN was doing. DBN left somebody on the fucking screen on his panel. And DBN must have put his phone down and must have been, I don't know what the fuck he did, because that porn bomb was the longest porn bomb I've ever seen in my life, you heard? But they be porn bombing with like mook shit. You know what I'm saying? Homeboy didn't porn bomb me with no mook shit, you heard? He did women on women. So, you know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, that's not that bad. Even though, I know he was trying to get my channel taken and shit like that, but at least he did some women on women shit, you heard? So shout out to him for that. Respectfully. Yo, I'm saying though that I didn't listen. When I'm live, I didn't have the I was on my phone when I did the live, you heard? And you know how when you're on your phone, the avatars are mad little, you know what I'm saying? So he turned his camera on and then took the phone and put it on another phone on the screen, you know what I'm saying? And it was women on women, so it was mad little. But I got the TV playing so I can see, you know what I'm saying, the chat and shit like that. And and it's delayed maybe like 3 or 4 seconds. You know what I'm saying? When I seen that, I'm like, oh shit, she's carpet munching. You heard? That's a fact. It was carpet munching. It was carpet munching action. You heard? But still, that shit gets your channel boom. I didn't respect that part of it. You heard? You know, but um, what else I was gonna say? I don't know. That's it. Yeah, that's a fact. That's a whole fact. He did some let's be honest, fucking porn bombing, you heard? I said, oh shit. I didn't know whether to end the live or what to do, you heard? That's not the first thing you listen. When somebody porn bomb you like got some mook with some mook shit, obviously you want to get that shit off the screen. Well, and shout out to the ladies in the chat. With all due respect, you heard? When you see something like that, that's not the first thing you think of. That's not the first thing you think of. You don't want to fucking, you don't want, you know, that's to a man, that's just gonna attract them. You heard? Like, oh shit, what did I do? That's a fact. Yo, humble, I was starting to worry. I'm like, damn, I hope she's alright. Respectfully. I hope you enjoyed your birthday. You know what I'm saying? Your presence is definitely missed around here when we don't see you. You heard? OG was over there about to go crazy the other day. You heard? I asked, yo, where's Iggy at? OG's voice started crackling. You heard? I thought he was about to bust out crying and shit like that. I'm like, nah, chill, let's change the subject. Nah, it's a fact. Humble, you know what I'm saying? If you notice, when you're gone, you're not, people. Some of us come here to support some people. You know what I'm saying? We laugh at the fuckery that goes on and shit like that. Sometimes we try not to get involved, but laughing and sometimes being in certain chats can make you a target. You know what I'm saying? Uh, and it sucks when that happens because if you're coming to support and shit like that, and then you become a target and you're not pussy, you're gonna try to shoot back, and then next you know you're into some drama that you didn't want to be into. You know what I'm saying? And when when you are when you're a dope vibe and good peoples and shit like that, uh motherfuckers notice that shit when you don't come around, when you know what I'm saying, when you're missing and shit like that. Like motherfucker notice that shit in the first 3 or 4 minutes of a live, you heard? But I'm glad to see. Oh, I also saw I was out taking Bruce for a walk and shit like that, and I went to change the music and I got a notification. I seen Tay was live, you heard? But her live was only like, I don't know, maybe it was an accident, but her live was wild short. Shout out to Tay, you heard? I hope everything's well with her too. Respectfully. Yo, check this out. On my page, I got a page, right? I shared that one out. You know what I'm saying? I got a page where I be dropping like freestyles and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? I shared that shit out. Shout out to Sexy J, shout out to Street Queen. They shared that shit out. When I first got my first strike in February, when I made the graffiti page, I made that page too. You heard? That page is out there. You know what I'm saying? They shared it. That page I got. You know what I'm saying? Most of y'all follow me on that shit, but I'm not usually on that page. I'll upload a video and I'll get up out of there, you heard? I'm not on this page. I'm not on my Matruski joint. Usually I'm on my Henny. When I go into regular chats, you'll see my dog with me and my dog in the avatar. You know what I'm saying? A few months ago, again, I'm not talking shit about Shorty. I know we bumped heads. I know, if I'm gonna be honest, yeah, I'm still bothered with Shorty, and I'm sure she's bothered with me. You heard? But this is no ill intent. But I'm just something to talk about. You heard? When I learned, I learned that the internet's the internet, and once it's here, you know what I'm saying. We got the right to talk about it, especially when somebody brings it to my attention. Um, I was on my when I did a live a few months ago. I did a live talking about how, BDB was unfaithful, whatever. But I try not to say Shorty name, whatever. Um, we went into Jay's chat one day. Shorty wasn't mad at me at this time. We had kind of squashed it. I was in Jay's chat. Carl Stanton came in there and said something. I tried to play it off, and I said, "Nah, was it?" They tried to insinuate that it was Shorty. This was in the beginning before I actually said it was her. I told Carl Stanton, "Nah, you got it wrong or whatever." But then I had uploaded. I got some dog shorts and shit like that. I looked at my notifications, and I had a bunch of notifications that uh Beef Stick. Beef Stick left me some shit in my shit saying, calling me a liar and all kinds of crazy shit. But he was saying some fucked up shit about Shorty in there too. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't want to deal with that shit. Plus, I didn't appreciate that shit. So I blocked the motherfucker from my Henny 81 page. Yesterday morning, I had a comment in one of those freestyle videos saying that Shorty was in what's his what's not Hassan Campbell, what's the other dude's name? Uh uh Beat Stinger. That Shorty was in Beat Stinger dragging me and saying all this kind of shit, and I'm like, what? Anyways, I blocked Beef Stick from that chat from my other where the page where I dropped the freestyles. I blocked him, but I still went and looked to see what the fuck he was talking about. Uh I guess he's trolling Shorty and shit like that. But Shorty wasn't saying no shit, and I'm sure Beef Stick's probably listening. I'm saying that because pretty sure Beef Stick's probably listening right now. You heard? Hey, yo, Beef Stick, get off my dick, my nigga. You heard? I don't know you, nigga. I don't give a fuck. I probably do know who you is, and you mad pussy. You mad pussy for not fucking typing in your regular account. You heard? Stop leaving shit in my fucking comments and all that. You heard? You blocked for a reason, bro. You blocked for a reason. You over there telling me that Shorty's talking mad shit about me and dragging me and slandering me. Meanwhile, I go and look, and Shorty ain't say nothing about me. They said that B Stinger was talking shit about me too. B Stinger didn't say nothing about me. All B Stinger said, he ain't know who the fuck I was. You heard? Respectfully. Uh, niggas be niggas be mad fucking butt and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Niggas be fucking. How can you expect? How can you expect? How you say it? Like, motherfuckers get mad about the ladies and all this shit. How you expect the ladies to want to fuck with a nigga like you? Like niggas like that. Like niggas be always fucking trying to slander and fucking start shit and like that's whole activity. I feel like that's straight up whole activity. You know what I'm saying? Like fuck all that shit. Fucking talking mad shit and leaving shit in my comments and shit. I don't even care because I could block you, but the people that come in there and comment and like and shit like that and fucking subscribe and shit gotta read that shit and then that shit is whack. Like leave that shit alone already, respectfully. You heard? I thought that shit was crazy though. That shit was wild crazy, you heard? It's hot as a motherfucker outside. My dog is fucking out for the count. I ain't gonna lie, I thought I was on here for like an hour already. It's only been a half hour, you heard? But I'm like, fuck it. I don't even be out here pushing this channel either. You know that? I'll go into certain like Roski. Yo, Roski's crazy, you heard? Roski's mad. Oh my god. I don't even like fucking saying that dude's name, you heard? But he a wild big ass toto, respectfully. Roski's Yo, somebody told me like, yo, go watch Roski right now. You heard? I go over there. He over there. Listen to this. Shout out to Grizz. You know what I'm saying? I know Grizz talked a little bit of shit. Like I said, I wasn't saying nothing about Grizz. Uh, I had tagged Grizz in a video that I made talking about behind the bar, but I tagged everybody in the section in that video. But then afterwards, I put the video on private, and Grizz must have thought that, you know, you get a notification say Argenis mentioned you or Henny mentioned you, and then the video's gone. He thought that I was talking shit about him. You heard? But I didn't get the memo till later. You know what I'm saying? When he had went live, him and OG had a fucking barbecue up there. You heard? They was cooking me. I said, look at this shit. Hey yo, OG, y'all niggas is talking about y'all gonna send some DoorDash to my crib with Matt Orange Juice, nigga. I'm waiting for that shit, nigga. Respectfully, extra Pope, you heard? But nah, Ross, Grizz did a live. Somebody hit me up and was like, yo, honey, you gotta shoot over there. These niggas have conversation. Shout out to OG. Cause that first live, when I got there, I played the bushes for a minute and OG was up there, you know what I'm saying? People will say, yo, motherfuckers be looking for help. Motherfuckers be looking for, and respectfully, I've never asked anybody to help me, you heard? But when I got there, OG was on the panel, you know what I'm saying? Battling, that's a fact. Uh, So I pull up, you know what I'm saying? Roski has some questions, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I always said this. If you're a father, you got daughters, even if you don't, if you got some principles and morals and shit like that, uh, somebody say something, you don't know me, you know, if something involves a kid and shit like that, of course, even women too. Shout out to the women that, you know, I don't take that shit personal, you know what I'm saying? I understand where y'all, you know, you hear some crazy shit like that. Hello, I would be like that. I would react the same way. I would look at somebody that I fucked with sideways. Somebody tell me that shit about that person. But you know, um, when I got up there, Rocky says, yo, I got a daughter, you know what I'm saying? This and that and the third. So I go explaining, you heard? At the end of the conversation, Roski was like, nah, the minute you said, and shout out to the white girls, you heard? But he said, the minute you said white girl, honey, I knew you was innocent. You heard this and that and the third. I go to Instagram the next day, Roski sends me a request. Like I said, you know what I'm saying? There's some internet shit to me. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck. People told me, yo, don't let people in your Instagram, they're gonna take your pictures. Take my fucking pictures. I posted them for a reason. I posted them shits for a reason. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. I know where I'm comfortable with my sexuality. You heard? I ain't no fucking. I'm not no mook. And shout out to the Rainbow Department. You heard? Shout out to them. Shout out to Rico the Sleeves. You heard? I ain't got nothing against him, but you know, I know he's part of that community. Rocky. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to him. You know what I'm saying? If he likes to get his back blown out, that's up to him. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck if he gets his back blown out. But I go over there and he's telling Rose that Rose is all kinds of this, and shout out to Rose too, you heard? He's up there wilding shit up. Yo, 1609, salute. Que lo que? Uh, and he was in there talking about that he doesn't want anything to happen to little girls and shit like that, but I actually did that and all this shit, and I'm like, bro, like, a couple this weekend that just passed, Sage jumped in the chat and was like, drop the link. Even shout out to DBN. DBN was writing to him in the chat, yo, I'm backstage. Let me up. Sage was in the chat talking about come outside, I'm outside. And you could just hear the tone in his voice. He went from acting mad hard and this and that to how do I get off this internet right now and make sure that he's not outside because I forgot to buy blunts and now I gotta go to the store and now you're fucking scared to death. Some people, listen, I take that shit personal. I take that shit real personal, you heard? Talk shit about Henny. You know what I'm saying? Tell the people why everybody keeps saying that I got the monster. Henny's the monster with the monster, right? Leave my fucking child out the shit, you heard? Because if we never fix that situation, and you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna be on the internet threatening you or none of that shit, bro. You heard? You might not hear from me for a year, but I do go to New York City a lot, respectfully. And it's a small world when it comes to shit like that. You heard? 16. You know what I meant to tell you? The other day you posted the picture of the plants, right? And I said them shits are the color of the mangoes. Somebody, my grandmother told me that shit a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? And if you, I don't know if any of y'all know that shit, but if y'all look, subscribe to 1609. You heard? He got that. He does the shorts is official. You know what I'm saying? A lot of knowledge and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? He posted some pictures of mango bush. I don't know if they come in bushes or trees, but them shits grow in the color, like the leaves and all that, grow in the colors of the mango and shit. If you look at it, that's a fact. Yeah, that's all right. That's all right, 16. I'm still gonna share your shit out and shit like that. You heard? I heard. Listen, sometimes I won't share. I won't share. Like if I share, let's say for example, uh, if Street Queen posts something that's official, and I share her shit, and I post a video that day too, I try not to share something because I heard that if you share, I think that, like the third share or the third thing you post, I don't know if it's true, but this is what I heard. Like it won't get pushed out. You heard? So I'm like, that shit's not gonna get pushed anywhere. You heard? Yo, that's a fact. Yo, I think this page got 40 subs. That's just crazy, you heard? But and I don't even push this shit out. Listen, when I had the one that's called Matuski now, that shit was R Henny, right? That page was named R Henny. I had that page. All right, check this out. My kids on YouTube on my TV had my regular account that I posted dog shorts in. Before I started posting any dog shorts, it was just a regular Argenis Reader 1981. That shit was for the kids when they came over here, you know what I'm saying, or got on the phone and shit like that, they can get on YouTube. I started going into chats and I started chatting. I wasn't looking for no problems and shit like that. When I decided to try to go live, I went under that account, that same email, and I added a new account. Like uh it said add account. So I added the account. They told me to name it. I named it. I went into Ming's chat. Ming promoted it. A few people promoted it. Shout out to KT too, DBN, Street Queen, anybody that promoted it. You know what I'm saying? And I got myself up on the second the Matruski one, cause I didn't want that. I didn't want to start going live from the shit that the kids watch TV. When I tried to connect that shit to the StreamYard, it wouldn't let me. It said that that's not the main account. That it wouldn't. It just wouldn't let me. So then I had to go back to the one that I do my dog shorts in, which is the main one for that account, and you know, yo, OG, I ain't say hit the like not once. I don't think you heard. I heard you too, OG. Yo, get your own style, OG. Get your own style. You get long hair and shit like that. You get your shit smooth. You run your fingers through all that shit, right? And you over there going That's crazy, B. Yo, mangoes is mad good. I ain't gonna front. Mangoes is mad good. And the only bad thing about mango is like if you're not home and you eat a mango, you're gonna have that shit all stuck between your teeth. You heard? Mango and pineapple is my two favorite fruits. You heard? Yo, shots. I said that shit. Salute. I said that shit in the beginning. You heard? When I end this live, I'm gonna give the people, you know what I'm saying, I fuck with sticks and shit like that. Pause. I'm on one device. I can't get it. Well, I can get in the other device, but at the time when I started the live, I couldn't get into the other device, so I can't. You know what I'm saying? That just I didn't take nobody's renters. You know what it was, shots? The first time I went live on this channel, I didn't I didn't have this account added to my other device, so I couldn't get into the chat to give sticks out. After that live, I did add it, but I never went live on this channel again. So you did come up here. You did come up here and but I will never, you know what I'm saying. But everybody that come through and shit like that, they're gonna be in the chat. You know what I'm saying. I'll go back. I'll you know what I'm saying. Nah, but they got you in the chat. You heard? They got you in the chat. You heard? Respectfully. Yo, we was talking about the pineapples on Ming's joint the other day too. You heard? Women, ladies. You heard? It's just for I'm talking to the ladies, respectfully. You heard? But pineapple is that one fruit that, you know what I'm saying, you eat enough of it. If you're trying to please your man, you heard? You eat enough of that shit when, you know what I'm saying, when, he gets to, what OG said earlier, copper munching, when he gets to that, you know what I'm saying, it's gonna be like he's eating a pineapple, respectfully. You heard? That's a fact. It's just like, listen, uh, some years back, I can't even tell you, like in the 2008, maybe 2009, they told me that beets is mad good for you. So I was drinking these beet drinks, but I'm telling you, I got an addicting personality. If I like something, I'm gonna violate. I'm gonna do it like excessively. Yo, that shit had me peeing red. Yo, I was scared to fucking death. Nah, Street Queen, there's a difference though. I'm being respectful though. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I understand what you're saying and shit like that. Shout out to that. But I'm just saying, like, I'm not talking about that shit make you sweet. I'm talking about that shit tastes like pineapple. Like, think I'm playing. Think I'm playing. Nah, hey yo, shots. I was drinking these. I forgot the name of these drinks. It was from the beet. I went to the doctor, nigga. Fuck is you talking about? It was the beet juice, nigga. That shit. I was doing that. I overdid that shit. That shit had me peeing red. That's a fact, nigga. I thought I was dying, nigga. Fuck is you talking about? Yo, listen. Look how the mind works. Look how the mind works. I saw that shit and I was like, oh shit. Yo, I felt like my heart was slowing down. I felt like I was actually dying. I'm like, oh shit, I'm dying. I'm done. I went there like, nah, bro, you overdid that shit with the beats, nigga. Respectfully. Nah, that shit wasn't beef juice. Hell nah. Hell no. I said beat. You heard? I thought I was like taking my last breath. You heard? Respectfully. I was like, you know, I said to my peoples, yo, you got my TV, yo. Yo, make sure the kids get this. Yeah. I see the light. You heard? I see the light. Yo, I feel my body getting cold. They're like, nigga, you was drinking too much beet juice. Fuck wrong with you, nigga. You fine. That's a fact. That's a fact. You know what's crazy? When I was young, I didn't even like beets. That's a fact. I didn't like them shits. I don't know why. My mom used to make them shits. I used to hate that shit. Nah, it was the damn juices I was drinking. I see them once in a while. I be going to the store called Greers, and I be seeing them shits. I be seeing them shits, and I look the other way. Nah, there's some. It's just like that VA tomato stuff. Back in the days, when they used to make this Bloody Mary, the V8 tomato stuff that they put in the Bloody Marys, I think them shit taste disgusting. Even though they're healthy for you, I think they taste disgusting. But now they got shit that's the V8 shit that shit tastes mad good. It's hearty and that shit tastes mad good. Respectfully. That's a fact. That's a fact. You heard? I thought, yo, that it's crazy how your mind works. Your mind, yo, listen, you can poison your mind and you can become massively sick and from just nothing. And even if if you do got some kind of something wrong with you, you know what I'm saying? Your mind can take you out even quicker. That's a fact. Yeah, y'all wanna know what's crazy? Y'all know, like I know all y'all got Instagram and shit like that. Y'all know the Instagram they be showing all these remedies and shit like that. When I was younger, John John was there. Rest in peace, John John. John John was there. We was drinking. You know how you park the cars on the curb, not on the curb, but in the street against the curb, right? And my feet were on the curb, but I was leaning back on my. We had a truck, a van. I was leaning back, leaning on the van, but my feet were on the curb and shit. We was drinking and shit like that. John John was there. Eddie was my boy. Eddie was there. My cousin was there. My sister was there. My kid's mom was there. We was drinking. I was intoxicated, but I wasn't. I wasn't slurring, intoxicated. I was feeling nice and shit like that. And I started sliding to the side. But that had nothing to usually when that happens, I just grab the mirror or something. But I was more down. There was nothing for me to grab onto. And I went to try to hold myself on the van, but my finger slid and I fell between my body. My waist fell between the curb and the tire. And like from the impact, the top of my body like turned. So my bottom and my hip, my bottom right side, I couldn't walk for like a month. No lie. I didn't go to the hospital or nothing. I'm talking about the pain was excruciating. And what's crazy is the very next day I had to go to my kid's mom's cousin's wedding. You heard? But that shit fucked my lower back up, like severely. Like I said, I couldn't walk for like a month. Like I could walk, but I'm talking about like every step. Something that would take me if it would take me 3 or 4 minutes to walk to the store, now it's gonna take me 40 minutes. Like no lie. Like I would have to wait till the light turns red. Even if the cars are way down there, usually you got enough time to cross the street where the light is green or not. I would have to wait till the light turned red, completely red to cross the street because it was one step. I would have to wait like a few seconds till that sharp pain will go away to take another step. You heard? Like it was that bad. Um, like a month later, a few weeks later, that shit, I could walk again normal. Every so often, like I get a sharp pain, but it was nothing. I was young, maybe 22, maybe 23. Um, Now for the last 3 or 4 years, depending on how I sleep, I wake up and I be sore as hell. Like when I go work out, I gotta stretch. Like you see, y'all be watching OG working out and shit like that. That's his thing. And I shout out everybody. I'm subscribed to mad people that do that shit. You know what I'm saying? I support shit like that. You know what I'm saying? That's not the type of kind of content I do. You heard? But I respect that shit. Like I do. And y'all see him when he starts working out and shit. Y'all see him stretching and all that shit. Like back in the days when I would work out, I didn't stretch. I didn't have to. Now that I'm older, like, but like if I'm gonna go take the dog for a long ass walk, I gotta stretch a little because you'll pull some shit. You'll pull some shit doing nothing. That shit crazy. Uh, so I understand when motherfuckers be stretching and shit like that. You heard? I understand that shit, but I be having this lower back pain like severely. As I get older, I'm like, holy shit, that's from that accident I had. You heard? So I was watching this shit on Instagram about natural remedies, and they showed uh, avocado, and they was like, you heard? They said a lot of people don't understand the how great these avocados are. Like back in the ancient days, when there wasn't no medicine, there was no pharmaceuticals and shit like that. Uh, the pit has mad. I forgot what it's called, but the pit has stuff in it that it's it's uh it does a lot of shit. And they showed this remedy that if you put if you take a couple pits, and you cut them up, like if it's a small pit, you cut it into fours. If it's a bigger pit, you cut it into six. And then you put it in a container, and you not just one pit, you save a few, you know what I'm saying? put them in a container, and then you fill the container with alcohol, like regular, either 70 or 90% alcohol. And then you let it sit for 5 or 6 days. 5 or 6 days later, you stir it. Every time you're gonna use it, you stir it. You take that shit. You take a towel, take some paper towel, and you soak the alcohol and you rub it wherever it hurts. And that shit, that's what they used to use that shit back in the day to like instead of a Vicodin or a Percocet and shit like that to take away pain, they used to do that shit. I'm like, I love avocados. You heard? I eat avocados with every fucking thing. So I be having them shits. I fucking did that shit. I did that shit. Yo, I'm not, there's no bullshit to y'all. Like dead ass. When I wake up and my shit be my hip be hurting, where that shit, when I tell you that shit popped that and that shit hurts, yo, I take that shit, and I rub it on there, dead ass. Immediately, not 5 minutes, not immediately, that shit goes away. Now, maybe in an hour, I gotta do it again. Like it don't last for that long, but I swear to God, that shit works immediately. You heard? As soon as I rub that shit on, that shit fucking works. And an hour later, I'll have to do it again and shit like that. You heard? And my shit don't be hurting all the time, but only when it hurts, I rub that shit on there, and I swear to God, that shit works. No cat. You don't like avocados? Hey yo, somebody with a big wrench blocker, you heard? Not yo shots. I'm being that serious though, B. I'm being that serious. Listen, uh, uh, I'm not up here talking about fucking fist-sized fucking hemorrhoids. You heard? Respectfully, I remember you used to take the bike to the store, and you knew you couldn't sit on it. You would sit on it, and instead of taking that shit right back in the house, you would walk all the way to the store, chain the motherfucker up, go and get mad shit, and then come out and fucking walk that motherfucker back home. I used to be like, why does they even take the bike? It's not like it's not like the shit hurt like when you was there already, nigga. You was home. You knew that shit hurt. I fuck with Top Shots though. That's a fact. I fuck with Top Shots. Top Shots is a yo. Listen, Top Shots low key. He's the troll and shit like that. Dude got a good heart and shit like that. But do be a demon too. Like you fucking get him mad. Listen, the first conversation I actually had with Top Shots, he told me on DBN's panel. He was like, "Yo," he was like, if you're my friend on Instagram, and then we have a hiccup or we got some kind of beef, and you call me a mook, don't open my fucking DM. You heard? Cause I'm gonna send hardcore man on man action porn. You heard? And I'm like, nah, that's it. Shout out to Spec. You heard Spec? Spec to Top Shot so Spec. Yo, you ain't open my DM. He's like, and I'm not gonna open it, nigga. I know what's in there. Top Edmonton is crazy. Hey, yo, OG, right? Listen, if you come out your house with your bike, right, and you get on the bike and you know that jump off is killing you, you get off that bitch immediately, you're going to either chain that bitch up right there, you're going to bring that shit right back in the house. Not Top Shots. Shout out to Top Shots, you heard? Top Shots is like, oh, that shit hurt too much. Let me walk this bitch. And he'll be on live, nigga, walking, holding the fucking camera, you heard? I'm like, why are you going through all that trouble? You was just home. You should have just bought the bike inside. You know why I think that shit's bad? I think that's one of the worst things that can happen to you. Because man or woman, we use the bathroom every day. You heard? Or if not, if you don't go to the bathroom today, you're definitely using the bathroom tomorrow. You heard? So sure. You know what I'm saying? I don't even want to talk about that shit because the way y'all niggas talk about that shit, sheesh. Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. Listen, not only that, I'm gonna talk about that shit again. I haven't talked about it on this channel. Some of y'all heard this shit already, and like I said, I got respect for Top Shots. You heard? I don't think Top Shots a mook. I just feel like you open that door with Top Shots, he's putting his foot in the door, and he's not gonna, you know what I'm saying? Even if he's being respectful, he's gonna be respectful on some, you know, buns talk. You heard? I know he's listening right now. I know he's waiting for me to try to violate so he can. He's probably on ChatGPT right now. You heard? But nah, Shots, I'm not. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna shoot. But listen, y'all know the story. Y'all know the story. You know, I got I got a notification. I go to the notification and shit like that. It's a link. Pause. It's a link to a IG live. So I clicked the shit. If I'm gonna speak honest, again, I don't got nothing against with that community. You heard? But I see what I believe to be a woman sitting down. You know, just talking into the phone, the camera. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't see nothing. I was just, you know, I didn't think nothing of it. Motherfucker sounded like a woman. The chat was going crazy. The chat was going crazy. Hard eyes. You know, dudes, whoever. There was people in the chat hollering at the person. You know what I'm saying? I'm listening to what's going on. And somebody wrote in the chat, yo, I think you're beautiful. I'm not saying, I don't know, I don't think it was Top Shots. It was somebody in the chat wrote that. And the person, the person, highlighted the shit. You know what I'm saying? The person highlighted it like this, right? And the person addresses the comment. They're like, "Oh my God, you think I'm beautiful? Well, I've come a long way." You know what I'm saying? And I'm blessed, and I feel so happy that I came a long way. I was born a man, and I'm like, "Say what? Como?" I'm like, "What?" That's the first thing I typed. You's a man? I said, "Yo, Shots, what type of shit is this?" I start writing mad shit. So now everybody's writing comments in there, but I'm the only comment that's violating now. You heard? You fucking mook. Fuckers, I said you should be a damn shame of yourself. You heard? I'm writing all kinds of crazy shit, but so the person, obviously my comments stand out. The person starts addressing me. You're in my life. They say you're in my life. You heard? You're in my life. That means you've been to my page and you've seen my pictures and you've seen my balls. And I'm like, what? The fuck? I've never been to your fucking page. Somebody send me the link to this fucking live. I said some mean shit, you heard? I did. I said some terrible shit. You know what I'm saying? When whoever said in the chat, you're beautiful, that person was like, oh, so happy because I've come a long way. I know that I shot that fucking, the, I shot their hopes up. They were feeling confident. That confidence just, I shot that shit like that shit just deflated everywhere. You know when you see somebody blowing a balloon, pause, and they let that shit go and that shit flies all around the room. That was their confidence. You heard? Immediately that shit took me back to my inbox. Whoop, and they must have kicked me out the live. You heard? That person must have blocked me or whatever. I text Shots and I'm like, yo, Shots, what type of... Shots was like, yo, I swear to God, I didn't know that was a man. You heard? I swear I didn't go to the page. I saw they were live and I just went to the live. You heard? I'm like, oh my, yo, Shots. Yo, Shots, I fucked with you. You heard? Why you stop laughing? Why you stop typing, Shots? Nah, the fuck I was, OG. I wasn't saying anything in the chat, you heard? I was listening to see what the fuck they was talking about. I'm wondering, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, I don't know what this like. It's not. He didn't say, "Yo, come check Shorty out" or nothing. He just sent the link to the live. I just hit the shit. I said he did it. He did send me another link. You heard? Respectfully. Pause. Before I hit that link, I said, "Top Shots, did you go to the page?" He's like, "Henny, it's a woman." I went over there, Shorty. You know what I'm saying? It was a Shorty. Respectfully, you heard? Yeah, it was nasty. I fuck with Top Shots though. Top Shots are very transparent. You heard? Top Shots is very transparent, and Top Shots love his mother, which I commend a lot. You heard? Like some of us, you know what I'm saying? I know we all love our mothers and shit like that. Uh, but some people, make fun of him and shit like that for, what I'm saying, the way he loves his mom and shit like that. And it's not that, Shots. I'm gonna keep it real with you. A lot, everybody that's ever said anything about your mom, which I never have, but I'm saying anybody that's ever said something about your mom or joked about you living with your mom, let me tell you something, bro. They don't really, really feel like that, but they know that shit really, really bothers you. You heard? That's the only reason. Because if you think about it, everybody loves their mother. You heard? You ask any of these people that they love their mother. Some have their mother, some don't. And rest in peace to the moms that, what I'm saying, are in heaven and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? I can just imagine, what I'm saying? I lost my father. I was very close to my father, and that was to this day, you heard? To this day, that's just painful. But um, thank the glory, I still got Mom Dukes. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? We all love our mothers. You know what I'm saying? Nobody really thinks you're stupid or any kind of shit like that because you love your mom and shit like that. The way you give it up for your mom, we just know. Everybody knows how you feel about your moms. You heard? So when they want to upset you for the shit you be saying, they get at you. Yeah, that link was crazy. You heard? That link was sponsored by Skittles. Respectfully. Once I hit the link, my IG said, Autobots, roll out. That's a fact. Shout out to all the moms that, what I'm saying, are here and the ones that the ones that aren't having, you heard? Some moms, what I'm saying, have gotten sick, and some moms, go through some, we don't know what they've gone through and shit like that. When they're about to go, I do know that I feel like I would, what I'm saying, like I would. It's tough. It's a very tough situation. You heard? I love my father to death. I know if I would have, somebody would have said, "Yo, you wanted your father to live for 10 more years, but he's gonna live in 10 more years of agony." How selfish would I have been to wanted to have my father here and have him live in agony? You heard, for 10 years. You know what I'm saying? Just because I love him so much, I'd rather him go through pain. You know what I'm saying? That's just crazy. Yo, DBN, yeah, that's a fact. I hollered at you about some CMOS last year. You out here moving like what's his name? King Erner. You heard? Shout out to DBN. Shout out to Humble's mommy. Shout out to Street Queen's mommy. Shout out to OG's mom. Shout out to Cynical's mom. Shout out to DBN's mom. Shout out to Henny's mom. You heard? Shout out to rest in peace and shout out my condolences to you, Cynical. You heard? It's a rough world we live in, but how you how you move out here, how you treat people, just shows a lot. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes some stuff can make us bitter, but that's not gonna get you nowhere. You heard? That shit. Listen, I tell you what. If being a dick to people would bring my father back, I'd be a fucking demon out here. You heard? But ain't none of that gonna change anything. You heard? And then on top of that, I shit don't make me feel good. I'm telling you. I thought when I was peeing blood, I thought I was not blood, the beet juice. I thought it was blood. I thought I was dying. I was running out of breath and all that shit. I felt mad stupid afterwards. I'm like, oh my god, I'm out of here. This is what it's like. I see the light. I see the light. I was lying like a motherfucker. You know, I was just scared. Yeah, now they snatched his honor already. You heard? Somebody need to fucking snatch his style though. That Dickies fucking era's way. That shit. The West Coast don't even rock like that no more. You heard? He be looking crazy out here. King Ernest, shout out to you. You heard? But them Dickie shits is looking wow, Benini. You heard? Yo, Top Shots, let me find out you over there making a fucking cartoon of me, bro. Don't play, bro. I was just talking facts up here. I was talking about the our history. You heard? I fuck with Top Shots. Top Shots is a funny motherfucker. You heard? Rest in peace, John John too. John John, behind the scenes, John John told me that he fucked with Top Shots. You heard? Cause John John loved his mom Dukes like crazy too, and you know who else? Shout out to Top Shots. You know who else? He had asked me too. He told me that he wanted to get in, if I he asked me to get in contact with he must have thought I had contact with Rose Gold, because he told me, he said, yo, tell him to holler at me and shit like that. I'll do a sports show with him, because I know a lot about sports and shit like that too. You heard? And he said that that he knew a lot about sports and shit like that, and he fucked with him. You know what I'm saying? I told him I didn't have no contact with him and shit like that, but he told me the same shit about DB. He had an issue with DBN. Nah, he didn't have an issue. It was a little bump in the road. He thought DBN was X, like he thought that was another account of his and shit like that. You heard? And then when that shit, you know what I'm saying? He did tell me about that shit. He told me he felt mad stupid and dumb and shit because DBN never did nothing to him, and he always showed him love and shit like that. He told me about KT. He told me KT tries to he said KT was cool, and you know welcomed them and showed them love and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? He told me about OG. You know, he said OG had pissed him off and shit like that. He did tell me that. He said he was mad pissed off at OG and shit like that. He said he was just trolling with the whole J shit and all that stuff. He said though, but that's one thing this no lie. Since we used to go to these places called the Locks, like LOCKS, where it was a river, the Genesee River, and these big, I forgot, it's kind of like these. Remember when back in the days they used to put your head in that in that thing, and then they dropped the big fucking the knife thing, and they chop your head off and shit like that. It kind of reminded me of that. It used to come down and it used to block the water from from the river going out. I don't know if it's called the dam. And we used to jump off that shit and shit like that. Since back in the days, you heard? And we used to go there to swim and shit like that. He always be over there fucking fishing and shit like that. Always. He fucked with that fishing shit, respectfully, you heard? He seen OG fishing, even though he was mad at him, he did go over there and try to not school him like OG didn't know what the fuck he was doing, but he's into that shit, you heard? Just like the stock, he heard DBN talking about stocks and all this crypto and all this stuff, and you know what I'm saying? Sometimes when you hear something that you have knowledge of, and you hear somebody that has knowledge, you pick that shit up. You know what I'm saying? That shit clicks and shit like that. That's a fact. You know, and the way people carry themselves. You know what I'm saying? People be out here and shit. Listen, you could fuck with somebody, you could think that person's manifesting, you could have a small issue, like the shit with when that shit happened with DBN. But he did tell me, he was like, yo, DBN, I could tell he's a thoroughbred too, because he addressed that shit right then and there. You know what I'm saying? He respected that shit. He glad that y'all moved past that shit. One person he never fucked with, respectfully, was the penthouse cleaner. You heard? He listened and he told me, yo, he ain't never did. Yeah, he disrespected John and shit like that after John tried to get at him, but he didn't like the way he disrespected Top Shots. Respectfully, he told me that shit behind the scenes a couple times. Like, nah, I don't like that shit. I feel like that's some bullying shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, how you gonna tell this man you're just gonna how you gonna talk to this man like that? Like, nah, fuck that. Like, that's some bully shit. That's like seeing somebody beating on a girl and you just letting. And I'm not saying, like, you know what I'm saying? Like just some bully shit. Like, you're gonna stop and fucking address shit. You heard? Like, you don't pick on somebody or just because they looking over that shit. He didn't like that shit. He just didn't. That shit didn't rub him the right way. Respectfully, pause. You know the street queens, the humble Gemini, the Keisha, the Tays, like the females and shit like that. Like he respected. Like I said in the beginning, he blocked he, he blocked Humble Gemini and Sexy J, right? Listen, John, he's two different people, right? If he's sober, he's more understanding and shit like that. But if he gets drunk, he'll get in his thoughts like a motherfucker. And he saw Sexy J and Humble in my chat, and in KT's chat. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know how that shit goes. Y'all know how that goes. You're in the chat. Sometimes the chat be jumping and moving, and sometimes you miss a name. You heard? Sometimes you miss a name. So I might see you in this chat this morning, and you might salute me, but then I'll see you in somebody else's chat tonight. I'll salute you, and you might not salute me, but it's because it's not nothing, not because you got feel some type of way, just because you didn't see the motherfucker. You heard? And John was, he was green to that shit, and me and OG had just got into some shit, and he saw he saw he saw Humble and Sexy J somewhere. He must have saluted them, and they didn't say hi back. He hit me up and he's like, "Yo, I blocked Sexy J, I blocked Humble, I blocked mad people." I'm like, "For what?" And I'm like, "Yo, you know when KT says, you know what I'm saying? Remember your training. Don't feed the trolls." I said, "That's what, bro. Like, that's what that means. They might have not saw you, nigga. Like, they don't have yeah, but they just saluted me earlier." I'm like, "Bro, exactly. What have you done to them for them not to salute you now?" That's what I'm saying. I'm like, bro, that means they didn't see you, bro. They're engaging in a conversation with somebody in the chat. They didn't, you know what I'm saying? You think so? I'm like, bro, I know so, bro. Y'all had me rolling, you heard? Yeah, that's a fact. You know what I'm saying? But then after that shit was straightened out, like he told me behind the scenes, like, yo, listen, KT, I kind of forgot my training too, cause when KT did the live, you know what I'm saying, and he was saying, "Oh, John and Henny got beef." I got up there and I was like, me and John got up there. We're like, "Nah, we good." He hit me. KT was like, "Yo, bro, that's not how you do this. Let them think that shit, bro. You're gonna bring numbers and shit like that." I'm like, "Oh." So we kind of like I said, we talk behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? He did. There was a few times. His last time that he got pissed at me. I thought he was joking and shit like that, but he was that serious. He thought I sent mad people to go fuck with him, and like he was like, "Yo, y'all made me feel like shit." And I'm like, "Why you keep saying y'all niggas? I didn't send nobody over there, nigga. I was over there at Cuba shit, listening to his shit, bro." You know what I'm saying? But life be like that. You heard? Life be like that. Should be, yeah, yeah. That's my Thruski. Sage made him change his name once. His shit was John John Never Scared. And then KT told him a few weeks ago, KT was like, "John John, who named himself John John?" And this and that and the third. John John was 47. Um, John John came back with Ghost Dog 585. Shout out to John John, you heard? With John John, like I said, John John was one of them friends, respectfully. Respectfully. If John John's your friend, you don't gotta say nothing to him. You don't gotta say if he's in the presence with you, somebody looks at your girl, somebody you might not catch it. John John's slapping the nigga and throwing the nigga out your crib. And then he's gonna tell you, nah, he was disrespecting B. Like fuck that dude. Like John John, he was he was one of them. When I got married, he was in my wedding. We were sitting at the head table, about to eat dinner after we got married and shit like that. You give a speech and shit like that. Um, After my speech, John John took his fork and went to tap his champagne glass, like a savage that he is. Yeah, I'm about to tell you another story too. Like a savage that he is, he hit that shit once and shattered glass everywhere, all over our plates. We had to throw our plates out, go get new plates and everything, cause he didn't just crack it, he shattered that motherfucker like he hit that shit with a mini sledgehammer or some shit. Um, This was like in 19, not the champagne shit. That was in July. That was July 28, 2007. You heard? But I remember it was in like 98, 99. We was walking and shit. We was mad young. We was walking, me, him, my boy Eddie. We was drinking OG. Remember I was talking about that St. Ides special brew shit I was telling you, the flavor shit? He used to fuck with them shits. That's how I know about them shits. I always been a Heineken or Beck's kind of dude. In my younger years. Later on, I started to like Guinness. That's my favorite beer now. But we was a little saucy. Me and my boy Eddie we smoked more than we drank. We might drink a couple beers and shit like that. But John liked to drink. We was walking on the street, and we're walking on the sidewalk. John walking in the street. A car flew by, and John yelled, "Slow down!" The dude stopped at the fucking at the stop sign. What are my kids? The dude got out and pulled out a fucking mini crowbar. Yo, John looked at him and was like, "Yo, you serious?" He didn't have that much drink in his bottle. He dumped that little bit of shit. Yo, dead ass on my kids. John ran towards the dude. Dude got a fucking crowbar. Dude seen John. John was a big boy, you heard? Dude saw John running at me and Eddie ain't doing nothing. He took the fuck off. Dude took off and left his car right there at the fucking stop sign. Dead ass on my kids. We was laughing like, yo, what a herb. That's a fact. John was a nutcase, you heard? He was a nutcase. Remember I was telling y'all John lost that money in that poker game in the basement? It was a New Year's Eve. I had a party at my crib. Hours later, me and John are mad good friends. You know what I'm saying? When John came over the house that day, me and John were mad good friends. His wife at the time was his girlfriend. They weren't married yet. But they came over. I had mad people there, but then my ex-wife had her family there too. My ex-wife got two younger sisters. Her youngest sister, she wasn't of age. She wasn't of age. She was 15. I think she was like 15 or 16 at the time. And she wanted alcohol. Shout out to Tina. That's John's wife. Tina said something about, nah. So Tina had bought some kind of alcohol there. And my ex-wife's little sister wanted some of that shit. And Tina was like, nah, you 15. And she was like, so what? And she was like, no, I'm not giving no child no alcohol. If you're going to have alcohol, it's not going to be none of mine. And she started, my ex-wife started a big fuss over the shit, you heard? Yo, Tamiya, what up? Salute. Big Shirley, Miss Shirley, what up? Thank you for stopping through. Y'all hit the like button. And my ex-wife's sister started a big fuss about it. And they started arguing. And it was my ex-wife's little sister arguing with John's girlfriend at the time, which is she's his wife now, you heard? And they're arguing, and John's wife tells my ex-wife's sister's name is Crystal. She tells Crystal, she's like, yo, I'm not arguing with no little ass girl. Yeah, rest in peace, John, you heard? And she took that shit personal, and then, you know, sisters are gonna stick together. And John felt like his wife, that's his girlfriend, he's gonna protect her by any means. So he kind of gets in the middle, like, nah. So I come to get in the middle too, like, nah, like, yo, like, I'm telling my ex-wife's sisters to back the fuck up, like, we're not doing this shit at my crib, respectfully. And John was like it was like a switch. Like he was on I'm protecting my wife by all means. And he thought I was getting into, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, to take my girl sister's fucking back and shit like that. And he immediately was like, yo, Henny, he was like, yo, Henny, don't do it. Like, I thought I was your man. And I'm like, yo, chill, B. Like, what the fuck is you talking about? I'm trying to fucking prevent this from happening. And he kind of looked at me like, I'm like, why you bucking up like you about to do something, nigga? Like, you in my crib, nigga. I'm trying to stop this shit. You over here acting all crazy and shit. Like, that was that first time we actually had a little argument type shit. But, you know what I'm saying? He did. We went outside and shit like that. He talked to me. He's like, yo, man, I didn't know what was going to happen. I know, just like I'm protecting my shorty, I know, you know, that's your sister and shit like that. I don't know what's going on. You got mad people over here and shit like that. I'm like, nah, but my nigga, like, how I'm going to let somebody do something to you? You my man, though, nigga. You know what I'm saying? But it's unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? Like if you ever whoever heard John talk on his lives on panels, he talked about business and money. He might have talked a little shit here and there, but and his daughter and the business and how he wanted to leave the business to his daughter and how she was gonna run the business and how she didn't go with her friends and she rather go with him to work and she and uh, uh and admired that she would put her childhood to the side to come learn the business and spend time with her dad and he loved that shit. Y'all know that shit. You know what I'm saying? That's a fact, DB. And you know what's crazy? He passed on Monday, but that Friday before that Monday, I went under with the same kind of medicine. You heard? And I didn't even think about it. It didn't put no fear in me or nothing. And now, if I ever gotta, you know what I'm saying, go through a procedure like that, I'm gonna be terrified. You heard? Um, he did. You know, he would post shorts. He would post shorts and his with his daughter, and he loved his kids. You know what I'm saying? His older daughter had moved out recently. You know what I'm saying? Uh, you know, but the younger one was stuck to his hip. You know what I'm saying? And the day before he went under, he said he posted something or told his daughter that he was starving and the food at the hospital was trash. And her and the and you know and John's wife pulled up and bought him some food and shit. He took a picture with her in the bed, like he was in the hospital bed, and she hugged up on him. He took a picture and shit like that. I seen that picture. That shit broke my heart. And then I see this fucking mook ass Franks use that shit as his thumbnail. Like that shit was cool. You heard? You you get what you put out in this world. You heard? Respectfully. And I don't wish that shit on nobody. You heard? I don't care if I don't like you. I could dislike you to the fullest. I will never wish no fucked up shit or make fun of no people like that. You heard? That go through some wild shit like that. Like that little girl's world is shattered. That what just happened with John? If let's say John would have lived 20 more years, her life would have been totally different. Her life is about to, that that trauma is gonna have a super impact in her life. And I wish that little girl no, but I wish her nothing but success and that you know that she don't you know what I'm saying that she can put somebody in. She a little girl, you heard? She was stuck to his hip. She wasn't going to camps and parties and sleepovers with her friends and play dates and all that. She was going to work with daddy, you heard? That was Superman to her, you heard? You know what I'm saying? Some of us, you know, let's see, that's 9 years. Almost, I was 36 when my father passed, you heard? I was a grown ass man. And that shit shattered me, you heard? That had a big impact in my life. And I was already a grown ass man. You imagine? You know what I'm saying? That shit makes me sad, you heard? Nah, it's a fact, DBN. That's a fact. But you know, that's just terrible. You know, he didn't I don't think he was up there talking shit. I think he said that when he passed, me and John had a I did John bad or some shit like that. He's like I said, he didn't know what the fuck he was talking about, but I just thought it was crazy for him to use his that last picture of him with his daughter, you heard? That picture's gonna be branded in that little girl's brain for the rest of her life. You heard? I don't know if homeboy got I don't know if those were his kids in that video, but you know what I'm saying? Like that's something precious. You know what I'm saying? Uh, any baby, whether it's a girl or boy. You know what I'm saying? That's some. You know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy. You heard? You know what it is to that little girl was probably seeing her dad happy. Daddy'll be home to get that fucking news. Sheesh. That's a fact. That's a fact. You know what I'm saying? And that's just nuts, though. That's just nuts. Cause one day you be here chilling, and you don't even don't have to be, you're crossing the street, a car hits you, you walk on the street, a big ass fucking limb falls off, fucking cracks you in your head, you get caught by a straight bullet, a crazy person might you know what I'm saying? You never know, but to be, healthy and go to the fucking doctor to get your gallbladder removed. You know, I'm pretty sure she asked her dad, like, is that serious? No, he's probably like, nah, no, it's gonna be a simple procedure. That'll be home. There's nothing to worry about. Some sad shit, you heard? I was gonna do a memorial. Shout out to KT. He did a Shout out to KT. Shout out to Rich Martinez. Shout out to OG. Shout out to Aplaga. Everybody that posted him, you heard? I was gonna do a tribute for him, you know what I'm saying? Everybody, and shout out to everybody that knew about it, that I was able to get in contact with, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of people knew right away, you heard? Shout out to y'all for holding that shit down, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate that shit, because I know one thing, I know the dirty sector, how the dirty sector is, and you know what I'm saying? If it would have been something else, I know that shit would have hit the streets wild quick, and man, people had enough respect to hold it down. Now the people I did tell, they're solid. You know what I'm saying? They're solid. You know what I'm saying? I was gonna do a tribute, but I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I uh I I couldn't find it to do a tribute. You heard? Like not that I couldn't appreciate him, but I thought about it like content type shit. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to do that to him. You heard? That's a fact. That's a fact. Some people said that I looked right over that shit. Y'all don't know what I went through when I heard that shit. You heard? I got a DM Monday night, late Monday night. Listen, my mother texts me every night and every morning. Every single day, every night and every morning. We might talk during the day, but every morning she'll text when she wake up, she'll text me, good morning, Señor te bendiga. That means God bless you, you heard? And every evening she'll say good night, Señor te bendiga. You heard? Every single day like clockwork. I remember Tuesday morning, I woke up. I hear my phone. I know the difference between Messenger and any other message. I hear my mom's message come in. I go and look, and she's like, "Yo, bro, John's gone." I'm like, "What?" And I went, and I remember I had other notifications, and one of our good friends, Tien from Michigan, he had sent me the message Monday night. Yo, Hen, John didn't make it out of surgery. I was like, nah, yo, um, I don't give a fuck. I'm a man, you heard? I'm a man. This internet shit don't matter to me, you heard? That shit hurt my feelings. That shit hurt my feelings. Shit's crazy, you heard? Like, we might see, this person might pass. I might not know them. Might be some sad shit. But me and him got history. Like I said, you heard? There was times like we got into big brawls and shit like that. Niggas could have got hurt. Niggas went to jail. Nigga, that nigga removed somebody from my mom's crib, you heard? I was on my way. He made it there before me. He went in the crib and physically removed somebody. No questions, no nothing. Walked in, hugged my mom, kissed my mom. He knew that wasn't supposed to be no man in there, you heard? I know homeboy must have been like, what did I do? You know what I'm saying? One thing I can tell y'all, when John was very, very, very close to his father. John used to go fishing with his father like y'all wouldn't believe. His father was mad cool, you heard? When his father died, John was always a happy person. Yeah, he was an emotional person, like would take shit to heart, but he was always a happy person, like always, you know what I'm saying? Like you wouldn't see him whining and crying and shit like that. I saw that man hurting, you heard? When his father passed. When my father passed. When my father passed, I seen that man cry, you heard? Respectfully. That's just crazy. It's mad crazy. Yeah, that's a fact, man. John in 1997. His stepkids to this day. I post anything on my shit, they'll hit me up once in a while. They hit me up, yo, how you doing, bro? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, some sad shit. Sometimes, some stuff, some people on the internet, I've heard some people say, yo, he looked right over that shit. He didn't even acknowledge it. Nah, y'all crazy. I acknowledge that shit. You know what I'm saying? But some stuff is not meant for the internet. Some stuff uh is different. You know what I'm saying? That's a fact. In 2022, John wanted to come. Listen, I blocked John in 2022 because the motherfucker was calling me at 3 in the morning over a relationship he had with my cousin. You heard? They get into an argument. He would call me at 3 in the morning. This is why I told them. This is why I had that rule. Nobody, like, my friends better not date my sister or my cousin. You heard? Respectfully. Like, even from a young kid, I used to be in all kinds of fights because of them. You heard? And I always felt like I know how relationships go. I don't want to see. I know my sister and my cousin always got all kinds of attention from niggas. You heard? And I also know. You heard that? Y'all heard that, man? Y'all heard my phone? My phone just did the. It just beeped. You hear that? I don't know if y'all heard that. That's my mom's. You heard it's evening. Um, I forgot what I was talking about. But yeah, it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? I know that when his pops passed, I know that I remember one time he told me that he couldn't wait till he was with his dad again. And I know for a fact if somebody would have gave him a choice, like, yo, you can go be with your dad, but you're not gonna be able to be with your daughter, he would have picked to stay with his daughter, you heard? That's just crazy. Uh I think, and shout out to 1609 too, you heard? Shout out to 1609. He made a damn, I forgot to shout him out too. Shout out to 1609 though. He made a AI picture of John standing in if they no like be with his father in heaven. You heard? Um 1609 made a AI pic. You heard of John standing in a football field, in a Raiders football field. And it was John and shit in the Raiders uniform in a Raiders football field, and it said "Rest in peace, John." And Bobby Ramos too. Shout out to Bobby Ramos. But I think this other one I'm talking about, this other AI picture was, I believe it. I don't want to give the one person props, but they both, a lot of people made pictures and shit like that. But I believe that for his memorial, they used the football one, the Raiders football one, and the one where he got his wings going into heaven. You heard? Respectfully. Yeah. Yes, he's yo, bro. Yo, bro. My God, yo. Yo. I'm talking about, bro, super wild disrespectful, bro. It'd be a group of motherfuckers, and she'll be like I'd be like, yo, cuzzo, chill. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, straight my sister and my cousin Vanessa, my cousin Felix, they all half Mexican, half Puerto Rican. My mom, My mom and my cousin. All right, my cousin Vanessa has a brother named Felix, and I got a sister named Corey. My mother and Vanessa's mom are sisters, and my father and Vanessa's father are brothers. It was two brothers walking on the street, Fifth Avenue in Brooklyn, Sunset Park, and my mom and my aunt were walking on the street, and my uncle and my dad crossed the street and bagged the two sisters. You heard? Had babies with them, respectfully. So we're, you know what I'm saying? We're tight cousins. We grew up, you know what I'm saying? Mad tight and shit like that. But they, you know what I'm saying? They got the fucking attitude of fucking some Bronx Puerto Rican girls. You heard? That's a fact. It's just crazy. But yo, I've been up here for a little minute already. You heard? Talked a little bit of shit. Got this live off and shit like that. I'm gonna try to start going live a little more often, even if it's not to you know what I'm saying? I might do shit. Shit. I might even I might have to get in contact with DBNski, you heard? And see what's up with that, cause I know I know motherfuckers be coming out late night, you heard? All DBN gotta do is share that shit one time. If I do the graveyard shift, and I know my shit's gonna get packed, pause. You heard? We'll see what's going on and shit like that. Salute to everybody that came through. When I get off here, I'm gonna rent y'all up, you heard? Appreciate y'all coming through and chilling with us. You know what I'm saying? And you know, like I said, it's my second live. I don't really promote this page and shit like that, so you know the chat stay moving. You know what I mean? KT, I heard KT, yo, I know KT I know he be getting receipts. KT, get this receipt, you heard? You said you support the niggas that support you, you heard? Respectfully. Shout out to you, KT. Yeah, I know I like being a little messy. But nah, I appreciate everybody that pulled up. You know what I'm saying? See who else is live and shit like that. And we'll get it popping. Y'all have a blessed rest of y'all Friday. You heard? Stay the fuck out of trouble. And be careful out there. You heard? People love y'all. And y'all know the vibes. Peace.